Hey guys, what is up? AwesomeTheSauce here. Hope you guys are having a great day. And today we're going to be talking about something that I definitely should have talked about earlier. We actually have a small clue as to what the new mid spells are going to be in the next audit. And honestly, I feel like they're super related to how PvP works, super related to how they're restructuring the schools in general. Well, I thought I would look at them. I thought I would talk about my feelings on them, talk about their pitfalls, maybe even. Let's get right into it. So the first one that you see on your screen right now is going to be the new troll. Now, Troll Minion is probably one of the most controversial spells in the world, and that's mainly because it used to be a very cheap hit minion, and it summoned a minion that actually started with an extra pip, and it could heal you. People used to spam this minion. It used to fairy. They actually updated it to make it not spam fairy, but then they gave it triple shields and Grendel's Amends, if I'm not wrong. Basically, for 2 pips, this minion has caused so much havoc in this game. So this is our first look into what they're actually gonna do with it. If y'all are unfamiliar with how that whole situation escalated, by the way, they had to ban the spell in PvP, which kind of creates an imbalance, right? If there's a 2-pip spell that's good for another school, to have a 2-pip spell as a myth that's PvP banned, it's just not it, you know? And I'm really happy that they only made it like a temporary ban. Honestly, I thought it would take longer, but it looks like they're not even making this a minion, so they don't have to wait until they do a minion overhaul to even make the spell into a spell for myth. But what does the new troll do? It looks really cool to me. So basically, the new troll uses shields on yourself to power up a hit and detonate. And for the first time ever in this game, we now have a detonate that actually increases the damage of the damage over time that you've cast. It's actually very similar to the new ghoul. It seems to be a continuation of something that they're doing, where you sacrifice something that you're building up gambit-wise. In the case of death, you're sacrificing a Doom Oni Gambit for blades. In this case, you're basically sacrificing somewhat of a Jin setup kind of thing on a myth, and instead you're using it to go an overtime route. Essentially like a pivot spell, but in my opinion, I don't think it's gonna be like that. It's gonna be used across multiple schools, especially when you use overtimes. Obviously, we're gonna see Fire probably use this. I would hope Fire uses this. And I can also see Death using it with Poison and Skeletal Dragon, which, I mean, that's actually 2 really good overtimes if you're gonna detonate. I mean, it's only a 2-pip spell, and you're gonna be shielding to set up Doom Oni anyways. Ice can also use it with Frostbite. Again, I don't know if Frostbite's so good to the point where it's usable, but Ice is another school that shields a lot. Now, before you say that, you know, a detonate would be so OP that it's bad for the game, I actually disagree simply because of this spell. Even if you do a protected overtime as a fire, right? Let's say I do an Inferno Salamander. That's a 4-round protected overtime. These Rochambeau spells clear the protected overtime and then weakness the opponent twice with 40 weaknesses. It's an extremely hard counter to an overtime. Right now, everyone's rocking this. So if you miss the turn on this, if anything, then the troll will punish it. But otherwise, you know, it's like no matter what, right? You need a turn to overtime and then a turn to detonate. There's still room for the opponent to react with a spell like this. I think the situation where it's going to be the best is when the weakness that you do from the overtime is actually not going to be enough to save you from the follow-up hit. But I feel like while the spell exists, I don't know if Troll is going to be that good. It's going to be situational at best, in my opinion. Now, the other spell is absolutely crazy. It's the new Minotaur. Right now, Minotaur is honestly not a bad spell. I would say it's probably up there with some of its best spells, mainly because of the sheer amount of damage you gain. If this, you know, card text is confusing, basically what this does is it does 45 damage no matter what, right? On your first hit, it's still a double hit. And in live realm right now, basically, what it does is it adds 85 damage to that second hit based on the number of traps you have. And it maxes out at 4. So if you have 4 traps on your opponent, you get 4 times 85 added on to that 445, and you get the most powerful double hit that exists in this game. But they're gonna change this, and they're gonna make it into something completely different. They're making it into something that clears shields and double hits. So according to the teaser that was revealed, basically what this spell is gonna do now is it's gonna do 30 damage and then 440 on the second hit. But in addition to that, it's gonna clear shields. Now, based on the order of the text, it seems to be that it hits and then clear shields, which would make it kind of ass. But I actually think it's supposed to clear shields and then hit, just based on what people are saying. And these are 35 myth traps, meaning if a death goes for Doom Oni, right? They actually, not only are they going to be scared of a spell like Betrayal, which Betrayal can be really good, but they can also be scared of an actual hit that not only disables that whole, you know, gambit in general by clearing 3 shields, but it's also going to take advantage of those traps by hitting. I would assume that regular Betrayal, TC Betrayal, and this new Minotaur, they are going to be viable against shield gambits in a way that Elephant even isn't. Again, Elephant clears 3 shields hits and then does a big overtime based on the shields. And don't get me wrong, that overtime is gigantic, but once again, this spell is extremely meta to pack on every school. So that protected overtime that you get that's literally using those shields for power is just not so good. And then you just lose out on a lot. So in a lot of ways, this new Minotaur might actually be better against death, just because of the, and anyone who uses a shield gambit, just because of the fact that a part of that damage isn't just removed immediately after. Now, for the people that are worried about losing that whole double hit, because it is kind of a weak double hit when you're not hitting into shields, they do still have, Mid still has this. And honestly, I think this is probably better in a lot of ways than Minotaur, because if you do happen to have traps on your opponent that you're not using, you can get some insane absorbs out of it, and these are not anything to trifle with. They're like big absorbs. With the damage the way that it is, I actually think that this could be used as just a regular double hit when the traps aren't working, and Minotaur can be used as a double hit when you need to clear a shield. So you can actually combo both double hits, and you can just hit through shields like crazy as a myth in a way that Fire doesn't. It's clearly unique. I actually really like that. What I really hope is that you can't just triple shield your way into victory on every school that has a shield gambit or off school it. There's already people that are running death stats on an ice and just doing exactly what most Death Wizards do, but they have better stats doing it. That type of stuff, I don't know. I think it really ruins the game a lot. I think shield gambits are clearly overrunning PvP. What I would hope is that, you know, new ways to use shields so that you're, you know, pivoting away with spells like Troll and just spells that completely counter shields like Minotaur. They might just be good for the game. I'm still a little annoyed that we haven't really gotten a good teaser on what other schools can do about shields. Time will tell. I don't know how that's gonna really end up in the grand scheme of things, but hopefully Myth and Fire are the places that they start if shield gambits get out of control in terms of adding spells to their library, especially if it means that other schools can use it as well. Right now, you just have everyone using a storm spell to counter OTs, and I'm not really convinced that a lot of people feel like they can use other fire or mid spells to counter shields. So hopefully that imbalance is something that they address. It seems like they're moving in the right direction, at least with these 2 spells, but I just want to talk about it. What do you guys think about the new Minotaur? What do you guys think about the new Troll? Do you guys think you're going to be using them, and in what school are y'all going to be using them on? As always, drop a like if you enjoyed, leave a sub if you're new, and as always, if somebody hasn't told you you're awesome today, they doing something wrong. Y'all, there's a huge spell audit coming. The second it drops, I will try to drop a video on all of the spells. There should be a big one. Make sure you turn on notice for that. Drop a like if you enjoyed, leave a sub if you're new. If somebody hasn't told you you're awesome today, they doing something wrong, so stay awesome, and yeah.